Tell you what, the views from last week's live were sweet. I mean, I don't know if we're getting views and like subscribers from people that like aren't existing.
Yeah.
Because we did get a message like yesterday from a random like account.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what it is, so I'm gonna look into it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But at least there's like more subscribers and more people listening
right.
and stuff. So I don't mind it. Don't mind it at all. Because what I have noticed is that not a lot of people watch live, but they'll watch later. And I think it like shows up on our shorts, it must, or on people's shorts, and then they watch. I don't know. Or YouTube's pushing it, I guess.
Yeah. Or it's just whoever was here that day was reviewing it over and over.
That's a good point. 80 times. Still live?
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting in about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes, so please find your way to your seats.
This little spider I got going on here.
Yeah, I did. Mine was just like off to the side. Vertical street.
It really is.
Okay, got it.
You can hopefully the stock market doesn't crash again. I'm looking for it currently. I can't find it. I have an eyeglass and everything. A monocle. I'm like a Monopoly man. You know, I was at the Shinola store the other day and I was like, man, if I had $1,000, I could have a Monopoly board. But it's all going in the stock market. It's been an interesting few months and weeks. The last week has been a little wild. Yeah.
Or at least it's what making
That's it. Yep. Yeah, that's another time where everything was crazy. Yeah, I don't know. We need a lot of people for something like this. So we're doing fine, but it's just like watching it. It's almost like, I mean, literally the other day, my dad and I were talking about this. Right now, I might as well have some and just like sit and watch this. Because he's just like, there's nothing you can do. Like, you just need to watch it play out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wait. This is me, right?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin in just 1 minute. We'll begin in 1 minute. Please take your seats. We'll start in just 1 minute.
Yeah, these are both mine. Yeah, I don't have that color.
I don't know if this is mine, but I'm gonna go get a new one.
That was mine. So that was yours.
Likely is. You're right.
I'm ready whenever you are, sir. Zoom is up and zooming.
Good morning, everybody. Please take a seat. We're going to get started. All right. PJ Jacobs, I'm your host this morning. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. How bad is it?
Woo!
across the country every Wednesday morning. Right now there are another 106 or so groups gathering just like we are. And some of you have been here many times, some of you are here for your first time. So if we could, who is here for the first time by a show of hands? All right, quite a few. Well, welcome. I'll leave them up because you get a present if you're here for the first time. So Daryl's going to come around and pass out.
Keep your hands up.
Keep your hands up, and there we go. Thank you for being here. Thanks for coming. Come back next time and bring 12 friends.
Yes.
Daryl, I think there's one more time open.
I guess we're going on.
One more coming. All right. So while we're waiting for that, how many of you were here for the very first one then? Anybody?
For the first one?
For the very first one? Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for being here all this time. That's great. All right.
You got the clip.
Yeah, next one. All right, I did that. All right.
Go back one. Past presenters.
Past presenters. Oh, who here has presented before in the past? Excellent. Thank you for coming back. We're always looking for past presenters who want to re-present to show how far they've come along since they've been here. And you can talk to Christina if you're interested about coming back as a past presenter. We're also looking for presenters for May and June. So if you watch today and think, oh, wow, that was awesome. How can I get this feedback? How can I get this advice? You can sign up with us, and we're always looking for new presenters. April is full, which is pretty cool, but May and June, we're looking for some new folks. And organizers. Raise your hand if you're a Only Cups organizer. So these are all the people, and there's plenty more of us, who put this thing on every week. And we're always looking for new people to help us out, especially if you're good at social media. We aren't. So if social media is your thing and you really want to help a nonprofit, come find one of us. And then our coffee sponsors. Every week we have someone who sponsors the coffee and donuts today. And if you're the coffee sponsor, then you have a chance to come up and talk a little bit about your business as well. And lastly, there's an iPad that's hopefully still going around. If you can, please sign in so that we get an idea as to how many people are here. The overlords that keep the numbers want to make sure that we have good attendance. So I probably shouldn't call them overlords. All right. Next we're at our coffee sponsor. So let me please welcome up to the stage Jack Digital.
I've been in business 8 years and I have about 3 employees. So I'm also an open fry provider. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Not I speak very loud anyways. So I've been in business for 8 years and I have been in open fry for about 2 years and I'm a provider. I was actually one of their first providers. I do marketing, so we do Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We also do content creation and we do a bunch of other things. So I've helped many of my Open Thrive clients be able to grow their businesses. I've helped people in beauty and spas. Currently, I just offered a new service where we're actually creating content. You get 3 videos with the 7 hours from Open Thrive. We're actually going to create videos next week for a sandwich shop who's an Open Thrive. So we do a lot of things like that. I've had a lot of success stories, a lot of nonprofits, a lot of different people follow me and they say, hey, Brianna, we followed all your advice, we're doing very well. So I would love to be a business provider and love to help you with marketing. But about Jack Digital, it's been around for 8 years, as I said, and we focus on social media and building a personal connection. Because that's the most important thing with social media to me. You need to build a personal connection. It's not just about posting a photo, it's about how can you connect with your community? How can you subliminally sell and say, hey, this is what I am, this is who I am. People are going to buy your service or your product based on who you are, not necessarily what you sell. So first of all, you want to have content that connects. Then you want to have stress-free solutions to elevate your online presence. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm saying the wrong thing. I'm usually very good at presenting. I'm off my game today. So I'm actually teaching a virtual workshop next week on Tuesday at 10 a.m. with Oakland Thrive. It's connecting in social media, and you're going to learn what to post, when to post, and how to post. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So we want to have a social media roadmap. So first of all, you want to define your objectives. What are your objectives and goals in social media? Are you looking to get business? Are you looking to get clients? Are you looking to get sales? What is your goal? Then we have develop a powerful story. So what is your story? Who are you trying to reach? Have you had a rough childhood? Have you started your business out of necessity? Then we have create an action plan. So you come up with all of your stories of things like, what are the 5 or 6 things I am going to create? What are my 5 or 6 categories in social media I'm going to provide with? Then we have create the content path. So decide, are you posting on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc. And then you want to execute, you want to post. Then you want to track your results and say, did my post actually do well? Did I get any likes? Did I get any comments? Or if you did not, look at it again and say, how can I change this post? And then at the end, you decide, hey, is this working? And then you always change your objectives. So I hope this was a little bit helpful, and I know this is a little bit gibberish today, but if you're looking for help, I'm really great at one-to-one, so give me a call.
All right, thank you, Jack. All right, next up we have our presenter for today. It's Versa Culture. Let me welcome to the stage Mr. Mark Hamilton.
All right, Mark. He's making his grand entrance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is my first time here, as luck would have it. I planned on, the best laid plans, right? I planned on coming here and getting to know everyone before jumping in, but over here, right. We've got,
We're perfect. There we go. Yes.
Good? Before this, okay.
Oh, screen's not up.
Yeah, first time presenting as well online and in person together. So I've had my half cup of coffee. I think more than that, I've become something inhuman. So I'll try and keep things in line and clear as we go. So I started Versa Culture post-COVID. This is my COVID story. And the reason for it was because I really saw a need for a different approach to culture. I also understood from experience, because I've researched culture, I've studied culture for years, and understanding what culture is. So I thought it would really be useful for companies for me to bring that approach. I wanted to be able to help people. I also wanted to be my own boss, is the case with many of the people here. So I do a lot of things, and some of the services, just a few of the services are here. One of them is assessment, so just helping people understand where they are. Are the people who you lead every day in your organization, whether it's 50 people or 500 or 5,000, are they all on the same page, so they have a clear understanding of what your vision is, what your values are, and how to apply that in their roles day to day. Not easy to do, as many of you know. You've either worked in organizations or you manage people in your organizations day in and day out. And help them develop a strategy, including a map, a roadmap of how to go about doing that. So that's a big part of my job. Another piece of it is leadership development. I found in my work, and this is where I am in the evolution of the business since I started it about 2.5 years ago, is all roads lead to culture. Leadership is much easier for people to understand, for them to get their heads around. People understand what leadership is, they've read about leadership, they try to apply leadership tools in their own lives, whether they're working for someone else or working for themselves, like many of you. So I start with leadership and then that develops. But regardless, when you're working with culture, you want to make sure that leadership is skilled, is competent, that they understand what they're trying to achieve and how they're trying to achieve it. And again, what role does everyone else on their team play in order to achieve that? You might not think at first that those things have to do with culture, but it's all about alignment and beliefs. What do people believe about your organization, and what impact does that have is the question that I ask on your outcomes. So it's an outcomes-based model. I start with ROI. What do you want to achieve? I don't mean what you want to get next quarter in terms of financial results or next year, but where are you headed, and how do we measure that? And how do we align your culture in a way to achieve those goals? So these are my, yes, this is going to be, Melissa asked me when we did our coaching session, she said, you'll be able to do this by heart, right? Well, yeah, the best laid plans. But, so these are some of the big challenges that I have. I need helping people understand my value. As I mentioned, culture is my primary area of expertise, but I've done a lot of training, like 15 years of it plus. And a lot of that has been about leadership, and I tailor the tools to the client's needs. It's a values-based model, but helping people understand the value of that, even when I'm presenting my pitch, my value proposition, as one focused on helping them get better outcomes, it's still a bit of a challenge. Packaging that as well has been a challenge for me in terms of services. People don't want to hear about a service that's going to take you 3 months to 6 months to implement, even though that may be what they need. So those are some of the many challenges that I've had in my work. So my ideal client, ideal customer. This is an additional slide that Melissa had suggested, not to put it all on her, but that it might help you to understand what my ideal client is. And the way that I put it most succinctly is they are large enough that they have a degree of complexity, there are a lot of moving parts, that one person can't master it all. But not so large that they already have legions of people, corporate development staff, people experience, a well-equipped HR department with specialists, real specialists in culture, leadership, and in other areas of expertise. So anywhere between, I'd say, 20 to 50 million in annual revenue, on up to over $1 billion. Anywhere from several hundred employees to several thousand, although I have been working more and more with smaller businesses. Since COVID, as we all know, culture has become more and more important. People are asking the question, right? Candidates in interviews, regardless of the size of the company or the opportunity. So this is what I've tried so far. One of the things that I do, and I'm doing it right now, is education. On the one hand, I am looking to provide services that are pretty accessible for people, meaning intellectually accessible and physically accessible, things that are relatively narrow in focus, such as a strategy workshop of a couple of hours, or a leadership development workshop. And the skills to be defined in collaboration with the client. And what I've found is that by speaking and writing, I can go into more depth, and I can get a reaction, a response to my services, my vision, the values that I hold, and what that means for my business. I also have been spending a lot of time on LinkedIn posts, getting traction there, LinkedIn articles. So I've started to perfect that more and more. I have a series of webinars that I've been doing with an internationally known company as an HR management platform. And most of these are focused on leadership, although incidentally recently here, and this is not a pitch to you by any means, I've been looking at DEI and what that means for companies and that agenda. And are there ways that they can focus in a cultural way, like issues of mutual respect, for example, in the workplace, in order to be able to achieve some of the same goals that a well-packaged DEI program would achieve for them. I've done a lot of networking. I like to network. It's not clear to me, however, that I have been networking with the people who are in my target audience. So, like many of us, I've cast a wide net from the very beginning. So if there's a networking event, I go to it. Now I'm starting to narrow that focus down and try and hone things more and think carefully about who's my ideal customer, who is the person, where is that person likely to congregate with other people, meet with other people, network with other people, and also, and equally importantly, who are the people that I can connect with who are connected to them, where we can collaborate. I do have partnerships, and partnerships is another strategy that I've been using, partnering with companies. I was just speaking with Lisa about Michigan Works, and I have partners who help companies to apply for Going Pro Talent Fund resources. How many people here are familiar with Going Pro Talent Fund, out of curiosity? So they provide $2,000, and I guess it's even up to $3,500. Not to put Lisa on the spot here. She's just started her.
We're going to put her on the spot later.
But there are resources that are available, and I want to do more to leverage that in order to help me garner clients. So, lessons learned. I enjoy webinars and webinar creation, and I've been getting more and more traction there. Very, very positive responses to my approach and my ideas. I've got confidence in myself technically. I know that I know what I know, and I know that I can do it well. The question is marketing and how to package that in a way to convince others to bring me on as part of their team. Networking, as I mentioned, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy the LinkedIn as well, but we can lose a lot of time there. So being able to package things and hone my message as well is a challenge and something that I really want to do. I want to be able to work smarter and work more efficiently in the process. I've become known as the guy who gets things done and gets them done in challenging circumstances. I hope this doesn't appear boastful. There are a lot of things I'm not good at. Marketing is not my gig, or administration. I hate it, and my eyes glaze over at admin tasks, although we all have to accept those responsibilities. But dropping me into a situation that is unknown and leaving me to figure out how things work, how people make decisions, what decisions they're making that follow their plan, that are aligned with their goals and their values, and those decisions that aren't. So helping people to diagnose things similar to what a doctor or a lawyer would do, to understand the problem in order to be able to help them to fix it. Let me know by a nod or something if I'm going over on my time. I know I have more, I'm assuming more since
Good. You're good. Yeah.
So these are the questions that I have for all of you. How can I better locate the right client? How can I present my value effectively? And how do I bridge the solo consultant gap? To explain what that means, when people hear me speak, one of the first questions I get, and it wants a buying sign and an objection, is, so it's just you? And I'm thinking, I don't mean to take offense to that. I'd like to think that I don't, but I think, well, I'm really enough. So, stand up for the solo consultant. But to dig deeper into that, they're expecting a full team of people. And one point that Melissa and Christina and I chatted about in our conversation is, well, people might be concerned. What happens if you're indisposed for some reason? You're halfway across the country, or whatever it might be. Who else are we going to rely on? So I have started developing, more than started, developing a network of professionals that I can call And I've got a proposal I'm submitting today that calls for me to hire other individuals, which I've done on project work that I've done in the past here and overseas. And still, that's there. But the model that I have is one that works with and through people within the organization. And the reason for that is one word: ownership. Because I can come in and fix a problem and then go away. If the people within the organization don't take ownership, don't take on the responsibility and the accountability for the outcomes of what they're going to do going forward, then all is for naught. How many of us have heard the story or been in the situation where a consultant came in, did all this work for us, and we've got nothing to show for it? So it's a way of trying to avoid that. So I'm going into more detail on that, even than I did with Melissa and Christina during our coaching sessions, so that people have a clear understanding of where I am in my thinking, so you can help me moving forward. Thank you.
All right, so, all right, so can we go back one slide, Mark? Sure. To your questions. Yes, sir. All right, so these are the 3 questions that Mark was asking the group today. If you have feedback, if you have answers, not answers, but if you can give answers, that'd be amazing. But we'll line up over by the coffee table and we'll bring people up to offer their 2 cents.
And including people online.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, and the people online as well. Thank you. I was supposed to do that. Every week we have people joining us on YouTube and Zoom, and starting next week, it's a new Zoom link, which we'll send out. So if you're on Zoom, look for a new link. But so Mark will give this to you, and I'll take that.
And am I calling on people or?
No, this is where they come up. Starting over there. This is not. It's on that part. Come on up. Yeah, you're on this.
I'm Shanice Daniels. Flow is, everybody knows, right? 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll get back 10 hours a week of your time for using Flow. Thank you. Okay, so I'm a business coach and former, solo consultant. And one of the questions that you had up there earlier was scalability. Am I too custom? And then my question was going to be, before I heard the rest of your presentation, was, do you have a framework? And if you have a framework, like you said, I do what I do really, really well, and I know what I'm doing. If you have a framework, I think putting that first, letting your customer know, these are the steps that we're going to go through. And I know that you said it's very custom according to what the customer needs. At that point, say, this is I think after my diagnosis, like a physician, is kind of what I heard, then your team will take the ownership. So I need you, but let them know like how long they'll actually rely on you, and then kind of do it for you, do it with you, now watch you. And
Structure.
You just need me. Yeah, you let them know that's first. That was basically it. And then HR professionals, you specifically mentioned that you need an HR specialist. SHRM. Are you familiar? Do you go to the conferences that SHRM is something HR management? SHRM, SHRM.
Yes, in fact,
Okay.
the series of webinars that I mentioned, they are for HR credit.
Got it. Okay, well, that's all that I have. And the local industry conferences, it sounds like you're all over networking in the local industry. Good luck.
Thanks. Well, appreciate it.
Nice.
I like this comment about structure. AI has become my friend, and if you're not using AI and I chat every day, and we're coming up with that framework.
You gotta move in a little bit. There we go, thank you.
My name is Sri from Unique Solutions, international companies. We are located in Detroit. I've been an IT consultant, started as a solo contributor myself, and growing into the team of 45.
Yeah, speak up just a little bit.
Growing to a team of 45 people right now that we are serving small businesses. But one of the things that I've noticed is how can I then locate the right client? I've not seen, I don't know if you define the file of your client. So if you define who is your prospect, then I would recommend you to subscribe or look into Apollo.io, and that is where you will find all your prospects that you need. You just have to dig into it, put some work into it, but you will find them. Once you know who is your suspect, then you turn them into your prospects. Then that is, you know how the change comes in. Now, the last question I can attest to the solo consultant gap. I've been through it. The way I overcome that is by bringing contractors into my team. Now, easy way to do it is you can subscribe to Office 365. You have your email associated there, and you can add consultants into your email. So when anybody is sending an email, they are sending an email to your domain, which inherently becomes part of your team. I hope that helps. Thank you.
Yes, it does. I love it when people give me websites or something I can type in and get information. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lynn Drake. I own Compass Commercial real estate. So I'm kind of looking for the same clients that you're looking for, CFOs, presidents of big companies. Detroit Regional Chamber, I find that a lot of the business leaders in this market attend those meetings, so that would be a good place. Have you ever been to their meetings?
No, I haven't yet. I am looking at several area chambers, Auburn Hills.
This is a level above. I mean, I'm a member of the Detroit Chamber. I love,
Okay.
but I don't find the large-sized businesses that I need to have there.
Okay.
That's just my experience. The other thing is, I have been a member of an entrepreneurial organization, EO. All your ideal clients are going to be there. You can do a couple of things. You can, they have a lot of educational opportunities. You can go and volunteer and speak before their groups, and you're going to have everybody in the room. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they will
Are they
be
linked to EOS at all?
And then no, they are not linked to EOS. And then I'm going to say, are you aware of EOS? Because what you're doing sounds very similar to me to what they do.
Yes. Part of my job is actually ask people to move their rocks, if you're familiar with EOS, which is a challenging thing to do. But thanks, these are very, very helpful. Incidentally, just to give some background, if I may, and everyone. We moved here from West Michigan back in the late summer, early fall. My wife started a program at U of M. So although I've been making the long commute 2-hour drive out to Detroit, I'm not as familiar with the networks here. So this is really, really helpful. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Jill Renard. I have a question for you. Can you share a little bit about what your sales process is like? I mean, like, is it a consultation? Do you offer something? Like, how does that work?
Right, these are really good questions, and the blank look is not acting. I don't have the best response for that. It's interesting because I have a sales background. I was in executive search for 7 years. My father sold insurance and real estate, and so I inherited a lot of these things from him. So I have that skill. I don't have very clearly defined. I've got to go back to my marketing profiles. I've got to look at my sales and my marketing funnels and get that in better shape. What I've been doing now is simply looking for buying sign-in conversations, setting up one-on-one meetings, and now I'm starting to structure that more.
Okay.
So that I actually have a process. But to the point earlier about having a framework, and that includes the sales process as well.
Okay. So what I was going to suggest is, and this is the hardest part. I've been doing this myself for a very long time. And that is, if you can break down, and I know you talked about scalability before, but identify one problem you can solve, like something where you could go in, maybe offer some type of benefit where you can save them X amount of dollars with my first visit and get in the door. And then if you get in the door, then they're probably not going to think about how many people you have on your team. If you say, here, I can save you this amount of money on my first visit. You probably know what that is, but it's like you got to dig deep to figure it out and then package it up and deliver it in an automated fashion. And when you get ready to do that, I can help with that.
Well, thank, this is really, really helpful, and I don't know what that value is yet. And again, we start this naive, it's the first time of the experience, not to give excuses. But yes, that's the hardest part, but you're right, it's gotta be a pitch that's very well honed that says, look, I can do this for you in this amount of time, and this is what's required. Okay,
That's
great,
it.
thank you.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
So thank you for your presentation and congratulations on creating this company in 2.5 years and being at events like this. I think it's awesome. You know, I do similar work in the leadership development. So the thing that stood out to me was your second question around presenting the value. So I think, at least from my experience around culture shift, like I think really hitting the emotions of that is really important. And I feel you probably do these things I'm going to say, but I think really playing on the pain of like what poor or weak or dysfunctional culture feels like and looks like, and how their people are probably showing up every day in this negative culture and what that's doing to them. And to me, I kind of bridge on the life and leadership coaching side, but I think really showing the life impacts that has on your people to show up in a culture that's dysfunctional or doesn't serve them or doesn't welcome them. So I think really saying, especially to these CEOs or these high people, like you probably don't even realize what's going on outside your office in your culture and how dysfunctional that probably really is and how that's likely showing up. And I think if you really drive home those pains, like you have no idea what's really going on outside your C-suite office. These are what your people are seeing. And then that flip side, of course, is, and here's that beautiful outcome. Here's the sunshine, happy workplace to show up to when you implement that shift. And then in the middle, you could take some of that advice up. And then here's kind of what the typical steps look like to bridge that gap. Just your thoughts on that.
That's really helpful. I'm an analytical person, if that's not obvious. And drawing on emotions, I have a coach who tells me all the time, says you have to make it personal. We talk about the stress, right? Talk about what that conflict is doing to you and doing to the people within the organization. So I remind myself, and I think back to the point made earlier about a framework would help do that, because you can frame these things in. You can structure a conversation so that it does exactly what you're saying. Makes those pain points personal, just adding on what you said. So yeah, I think definitely. And what I like about that is it's intangible, although it's real. It's things that people really, really feel.
And I think then when you can start to get little bits of data, so you're like, and this emotional thing adds up to here's how it might be costing you. And maybe it might be hard to put an exact dollar figure, but you could say, hey, you're a $50 million business, this might be hurting, 5-10% of your business.
You're losing this much time on average per person on the production line and productivity.
And the retention one, that's the other big one I was going to point out. I think when culture shift takes place, like if you don't keep your people, and there's data out there on that, as far as having to replace a person, the percentage of that, what that equals of their salary, that kind of thing, and then other people picking up the load. So I think you can really drive a lot of that pain home to why they even need a culture shift. Then are you the guy for it? And it's a different part of it. Here's why this is a problem for any of your clients, of all businesses, really. And then you mentioned the DEI side, and that scope is changing for businesses, so really driving that home of, here's the pain, that your people are seeing that you probably don't realize, and it's costing them.
Yeah, that's really helpful. So a little bit, I'd be interested in people's responses to it. Not only the retention piece, but as I've said to clients, your turnover is one thing, but the people who you have now, who are wanting to leave or not wanting to be here but still here, that's costing you. So I've got some interaction with that as well. Yes,
yeah.
I've got that point.
And there's data more on that now, so I think that's available. So I'd like to talk to you more after. So thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Good comments.
Okay, then I reread your questions. How can I present my value effectively? So I'm really a consultant too, basically, in commercial real estate. I have a couple of things. If you hear me talk, I'm very process oriented. So whenever I finish a transaction, I go back and I say, what did I do here? I'll give you an example. I worked with the Girl Scouts. They were in a building in Detroit that had a lot of problems. Loss factor, because the way the building was built, they had to lease way more space. There was water heat. it costs another $1.25 a square foot more than a regular building. I put all this stuff together, I relocated them, and I believe I saved them $10 million in a relocation in a new space. Then what I do is I put a case study, it's on the back of my capability statement, I get a quote from the client. Now your clients might not want to be identified because you're working with bigger clients than I am, but that was a nonprofit, so they had no issue with me sharing that. So what I would say is, hey, Mr. Client, I did this for you, can I put a case study? And then can we just say they're in the X industry and I work with this? And can I have your permission to do that?
That's social proof. I'm actually putting together a video now with the help of a former client who does video production. And I have 2 people who have agreed to provide testimonials. So I'll have video testimonials and use the print from that. And my case studies are a mess. They need work.
Yeah,
so
case studies got to be clean. So testimonials. So what I do with so as soon as I'm done with every transaction, it's part of my process that I send them an email. It's a pre-written email. How did we do? And then I say, can you put this on Google? I am now the #1 broker in Troy, Michigan, because my clients respond and they put it in there. And some of them respond without their name, but they still respond. And so now when anybody looks up real estate in Troy, I come up. So that's a really easy way to do that. Another thing I do is I take the quotes and I have somebody put it into this nice little picture, and then I post them on LinkedIn. Again, social proof. That stuff works really well, but you can just put it in your process, and it's just a lot easier than trying to come back and do everything later. When you're working on your process, put all that in there and just get it done.
So the postmortem on the back end is part of the structure process. Thank you. I'd like to see some of your materials. So
Okay, you get on my LinkedIn account and you will see it's all there.
You have an amazing business, and thank you again for coming out today. One of the things when you talk about presenting the value and then the whole solo entrepreneur issue is get that out front. Get that, talk about it. Hey, I'm a
cover
solo
the objection before it comes up.
I'm a solo entrepreneur because that's all I need. And I guarantee you that I can bring you results. So let's kick that out of the way. And if it comes up at the end, is that really a real objection, or are they just sort of stalling because they don't want to do business? So one of the things is get that out of the way as quick as possible. And then when you, on your website, look like you got a big team. And maybe it doesn't come in. You don't have to have a large team to look like you have a large team. So just a couple of things real quick, but I love what you're doing. Culture is very, very important today. One of the things that businesses need to understand is you can't treat every culture the same way. So understand the differences in the cultures, develop plans to help them to make sure that everybody feels included. That's really the key. That encompasses DEI and all those things without even talking about DEI. So I think you're doing a great job. Keep it up. 5 years from now, you're going to be a multi-millionaire. You're going to forget all about us. Life will be great.
No, I promise to come back for a cup of coffee.
All right,
yes.
I promise we'll have some decaf next time.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mark. Before we send you off, just a couple of questions. First of all, what made you decide to come present this morning?
I am a learning guy. I love to learn. I tell people I've managed in the past, for example, that I judge the value of a meeting or an event by whether or not I've learned something I didn't know when I got there. Otherwise, it's, my eyes glaze over, like many of us, we have to attend meetings like that. So I like to learn, I like to challenge myself. And I hope I have enough humility to understand that you have to put yourself out there. You can't, as a colleague of mine in Ann Arbor said, you can't read the label yourself, right? You can't look inward. You have to have other people as a sounding board. So those are among the reasons why.
That's great. And then what's one thing that you heard today that you think you could probably implement on the quick?
Boy, I think Apollo.io is going to be one of the first things I'll plug into my phone when I leave here. But yeah, the structure and process piece of it, which that's something I'm going to be able to implement right away. I'm actually doing it now, but the way people described it will be helpful and will give me the language that I need to use the tools that I have, AI-driven and other, to help me craft something that both represents me, heart and soul and mind all together, and at the same time has more sense and substance to it. People need to be able to follow where I'm headed, as people have raised here. And that's one of the things that I'll be doing personally.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for your time. One last round of applause for Mark. All right, and then we are going to bring up, you can have a seat, sir. You're all set. We're going to bring up Lisa Wilson from New for Michigan Works to tell you a little bit about herself.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Lisa Wilson. How many of you have heard of Michigan Works? Great, many of you have heard of it. How many of you have worked with any of the offices in Oakland County, Michigan Works? So we've got a few people who have. I am from the Oak Park office, which is just a stone's throw from here, 9 in Coolidge area. I'd like to just spend a little bit of time talking about the Going Pro Talent Fund. Applications are going to be open April 15th and May 2nd. This is where employers can get reimbursement for training dollars up to $2,000 per person. So if you are interested in these types of services where you could be reimbursed for those training costs, this particular cycle of grants will start June 30th and run through July 1st of 2026. I'm happy to sit down with you. We'll do a fact-finding meeting to figure out how those funds might be allocated, what training providers are eligible, what training classes are ineligible. The grant guidelines change every year, so I'm happy to sit down with you or just email you the presentation that the state has been using to be able to show employers what is needed. I'm happy to take any questions. I'll be around after the meeting today, and I'm so delighted to be here, so thank you.
Does this cover apprenticeships?
It does indeed, and on-the-job training. For apprenticeships and on-the-job training, you can get up to $3,500 worth of payment per person. Questions?
Is solopreneurs or owners of the small business
Yes.
eligible for this grant?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can they be existing employees where you're upskilling?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Can they be existing employees?
Yes.
Where you're upskilling?
Absolutely, absolutely. Some grants only have existing employees, but new employees are eligible. Even if you're not sure you're going to be hiring, you could put some new employees on your training plan and estimate that you will be hiring them. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. For example, if you have training already decided upon as part of your application and your training grant, and say that training company goes out of business, and you need to modify your application, that can be done as well. So everything doesn't have to be completely written in stone for you to be able to apply. There is, the possibility of modifying your grant once it's in process. Yes.
Are these training have to be in person? Can they be online trainings?
They can be online as long as it is a live training online class. It cannot be a subscription training where someone's watching a video and answering questions.
Now, you said for employees, is that when the payment to be your W-2?
Yeah, yes, or
Not, or contractors?
no, they have to be a full-time person, and that is defined by 32 hours and up per week. They cannot be seasonal. They need to be people that you're investing in. The whole goal is to show that people are getting certifications and their hourly wages are moving up.
Are these employees have to be within Michigan or they cannot work from home anywhere else?
The employees need to be Michigan residents, and the training places, the state, this is a competitive grant process. So the state prefers training institutions to be in the state of Michigan, but you can have training institutions outside of the state if that is specific to your need. And sometimes the question would be, why are you not selecting a Michigan training? And there might be justification to that. Maybe this program isn't offered in the state of Michigan. Maybe you have to go outside the state to get it. However, I need to let everybody know that any invoices that we get for reimbursement, if they are in euros or any other denomination, we cannot pay them. So we can't just do an exchange rate of the day of the invoice. Unfortunately, the state won't allow us to do that. Other questions? Thank you so much. I had expected just to stand in the back and maybe hand out a couple cards.
Thank you for joining us. I need your ID. So, just real quick before we move on, anybody here for the first time that showed up after we already asked if anyone was here for the first time? Because you get a present if you did. No? Okay, all right, great, just making sure. All right, we've a podcast release event coming up
Tonight?
Oh, it's tonight.
Tonight?
It's tonight, excellent. Reserve your spot now, 6 to 8 p.m. at New Lab Detroit, which is an awesome space downtown by the train station. And there's all the information on that. Can I get your phone back? I also want to thank Incubizo for hosting us here.
By the way, I'm here.
Oh, you are? Yes, great. He's hosting the podcast, so talk to him afterwards. Also, Shri, who came up earlier, he's hosting Streamlining Operational Efficiency, Part 2, with Shri Kaluva. They'll be here at Incubizo on Thursday, April 24th at 10 a.m. If you want to learn more about streamlining operational efficiency, talk to Shri, and he can tell you what to expect. And so many things in my hands. Group photo time. All right, so that brings us to the end of this morning's 1 Million Cups. When this is done, you are welcome to stay here and work at Incubizo. Starting at 10:30, they want the volume to be down so people can actually work. But so you're free to welcome to hang out until 10:30. And in a moment, we're going to all come up here and take a group photo. David today is our cameraman, so very exciting there. And he's going to lead the group from there. But thank you for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Woohoo! Thank you.
Group photo up here, please. Who's going to be the person in the group that's going to lead the charge? Come up here. The answer is nobody. Nobody's going to do that. Okay. Daryl's got $100 in his wallet, and he's going to hand it out. I'll tell jokes. He's standing.
They're way up there, so it can...
2 1 minute attendees walk into a bar.